Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And a new backdrop. This is a slate blue color. Let me know what you think. I was looking for something a little more vibrant, like I've used before, like a sea blue, but this was the best I can do. There's, of course, I can go yellow, red, or whatever, but thus far, I kind of like it. I mean, at least I like what I'm seeing through the camera. But you guys let me know if you like what you're seeing through your televisions, computers, and other devices. But enough with the channel update. We're here taking a look at, from the Transformers Legacy line, this is Prime Universe Arcee. Now, a lot has been said about this figure, and I gotta be honest, I'll just say it right off the bat, this isn't my favorite of Wave 1. I hear what a lot of people are saying, but when we get into robot mode, I did discover something on mine that I think is a little bit different. Also, the problems some people have had, I'm not having, but I'm having some different ones. Starting off in its vehicle mode, this is one of those Japanese style speed race motorcycles, very close to the animation design. Now, I'll be honest, when it comes to the Transformers Prime cartoon, my favorite version of Arcee was actually the Cyberverse Legion class figure. It scaled well with the other Cyberverse figures, which I was really into with that line, as some of you longtime viewers might know. And I feel the robot mode was the closest out of the three figures to resemble Arcee's animation design. None of them were perfect, because they did use a lot of the movie magic, but it was close. And I gotta say, this vehicle mode is actually kind of close too. One thing I can tell you is, unlike the first edition figure, you don't need the arm blades to complete the sides of the motorcycle. You do have these clear pieces here, which I guess are supposed to be the arm blades. Personally, I think these are for the eventual retool of this figure into G2 Road Rocket, another motorcycle figure. But they do combine like that to form like a spinning disc. There's a little star there, like a safety ninja star shield, or for Road Rocket would be a saw blade. I'll put these off to the side. Now, that's not the only parts that can come off. This whole front section, the front wheel, and this front section that includes these side panels here also pops off. And to get the figure out of the box, you're kind of going to have to do that, which kind of annoys me a little. This is now the second Legacy figure in a row that, removing it from the package, number one, I was concerned about breaking the figure, and number two, I was questioning how they got it in the first place. And that also leads to one of the problems that I'm having that a lot of people aren't having. This front end likes to come off when you're handling it. So when transforming this section, try to grab it from this front wheel here. Yes, it does pull out, but it doesn't come off as easily as that. Other than that, there is a kickstand. Figure rolls quite nicely, which is kind of interesting when you consider that both sets of wheels do split open. So yeah, that's about it for the vehicle mode. We'll pause and get into the transformation. Okay, transformation isn't that bad. First thing what you want to do is, if you haven't already, bring up the kickstand. You'll kind of want to angle it just like there. You might have to fiddle with it when you get to rope, when you finish up the legs, just to make sure it's out of the way, because you might knock it around. The second thing you want to do is come into the side here and pop open these panels. And you might have noticed I just in doing that, almost knocked this front end off. I also want to mention that I do notice on occasion, I think the frame here, not the front wheel, but the frame that this blue section pegs onto, is warped, because it sometimes looks very uneven. So just continue to push these all the way forward, just like that, so they're out of the way. The next step, what you want to do is come underneath here, and if you have a fingernail, that's great. Just go in, separate the back tires, and go basically swivel the legs forward like so. just like this, and be mindful that there's the mushroom cap swivels and these hinge pieces swivel, so you want to have them facing with the bolt, the pins facing forward, so when you rotate the black pieces, won't affect the leg transformation. And yeah, I did pop this off. It does pop back on. That was actually the first time it came off doing that. Just make sure you get it back in. I mean, it kind of stays until it doesn't, if that makes sense. So come in, bring these legs down, just like so. What you can do now is flip down the wheels. And this is what I was talking about, making sure you have the kickstand out of the way. Next, what you'll do is you'll unpeg the heel from that little bar there, swing it around, and that'll snap into place on the inside of the lower leg. Do that again, just like so. And I guess now you can go ahead and flip out the toe. It's actually, toe is you're going to have to adjust when it's time to stand the figure up, just so to make sure you have it even. While you have the leg spread, flip that piece down, rotate the whole thing around, swivel the legs down, so you basically have the heels facing towards you at this point, or you could have done it sooner. Unpeg the legs, swing them up until they snap into place. Bend them down at the armpit joint. Rotate them so the thicker part of the blue panel face outward, and then just bring them forward so they're out of the way. Next, what you can do is bring that blue piece up and around, and you're going to just bring it up like that. Now, a lot of people leave the figure like this, and it ends up being very floppy. On mine, and let's see if it'll click this time. There. If you actually bend it all the way forward, maybe past the point that you feel comfortable, it will snap into place, but you do lose that full waist articulation. You have some there. Bring the arms down. Go ahead, slide up those panels to reveal the fists. You can start seeing where the Arcee robot is. Bring this panel back, accordion it down, rotate it on that hinge, and then collapse everything up so it sits flush on the back. And adjust the heels if you have to. Adjust Arcee. The head is on a little bit of a tight ball joint. And yeah, see right here, this is what I was talking about. It looks like it's sitting a little off center, and there is no swivel there. So I don't know. Maybe it's me. But there we have Arcee in its vehicle mode. Excuse me, its robot mode. Now, let me just demonstrate. This wheel can remove. It does come separate in the packaging. You can also split it open. This can form a weapon of sorts for Arcee. I've seen people use it as a blaster, with those two as the barrels, or actually these two. Some sort of spinning shield. I love that it's decorated. There is also a post on the back here that it does peg into. That is actually for the Road Rocket retool. But for the remainder of the review, I'm just going to pop this back together. Make sure you have the holes and wheels, the holes and pegs lined up. There we go. Kind of tricky to do on camera. Yeah, trying to look, but there you go. And then with the covering right there facing forward, go ahead and peg it back in. And I'm trying to do it without popping off that back section. But, yep. See, it came off again. So just make sure that's in, and then peg this on again. Again, when you're holding it, try to grab it from the wheel, but I know when you're trying to peg that wheel back in, it's a little difficult. Let's go ahead and separate the weapon here and peg it into the forearms, just like so. Obviously, this is like plenty of 5mm ports on the figure. You can peg these in however you like. There's ports here if you want for weapon storage if you want. You can even do the old school, how I didn't lose G1 weapons when I didn't want the robots fighting. Rotate, if they peg into the side, rotate them up like that, or peg them backwards under the fist. So, yeah, you have options. Universal joints in the shoulders, 90-degree bend a little over at the elbows, bicep swivel. You saw those hinges at the hips, a little bit of waist. Nice knee bend. And we do have, believe it or not, ankle pivot. And you do have a lot of the play here in the ankle, in the feet, because you do have some really nice heels, which I do appreciate because of that section facing off the back. Some people have complained about the head. I don't mind. Yeah, they're saying it's a little G1ified. I get it, but I don't think it's that bad. And I don't think this figure's that bad. Like I said, it's not one of my favorites. When it comes to motorcycles, I prefer, you know, the Harley Davidson Indian soft tail designs, which unfortunately I don't really think we've ever gotten a really good version of one of those. Cybertron came close, but yeah, maybe someday we'll get one like that, maybe a licensed one. I think it's because they try to do them as too small of a scale, and there's just not enough room. So that's about it. We'll pause, and we'll come back with my final thoughts. While I said at the beginning that Arcee is not my favorite figure of the wave, I don't necessarily think it's a bad figure, or as bad as a lot of people have pointed it out. The transformation, while it can be a little fiddly at times, once you do it a few times, it's kind of second nature. Also, I think having discovered how to lock that waist piece into place really changes this figure a lot, because without that piece locked in, it does limit the posing you can do with Arcee, and really does make the figure a floppy mess. While I wouldn't recommend it as a first or second purchase, I do think if you are a fan of the Prime cartoon and of this version of Arcee in general, it's worth a pickup. So that's about it for the review. If you like this review, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. While I will always appreciate the views, the likes, comments, and subscriptions help to communicate to YouTube through the algorithms that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. If you want to make the ultimate sign of support to this channel, please consider joining my Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/ChuckDog1999. Ooh, almost screwed that up. A little card here in the corner and a little hyperlink in the description below. As I always say, it's $1 a month or $12 a year. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. But if you can't afford the $1 a month or $12 a year, the views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous sundae. With that being said, this is your old pal Chuck for Prime Universe Arcee. We will see you next time.